What if the fear that keeps you feeling small and stuck isn't a life sentence, but a locked door? And what if I told you that you're already holding the key? I used to live in a prison of my own making, completely terrified of the future. It was a future I had meticulously planned, right down to the smallest detail, because I believed if I could just control everything, I could finally feel safe. But my life didn't feel safe. It felt suffocating. My fear of the future was a cage that kept me small and stuck in a life I didn't even want. In this video, I'm going to share the one spiritual truth that didn't just help me cope with uncertainty. It taught me to see it as the most direct path to my own inner power. Now, this isn't about ignoring reality or pretending challenges don't exist. It's about a deep shift in perspective that can transform your relationship with the unknown, moving you from a state of constant, low-grade anxiety to one of quiet confidence and true freedom. For years, my mind was a fortress I built to defend against anything unpredictable. I had 5-year plans, 10-year goals, and daily to-do lists that were designed for maximum efficiency. I thought that success and happiness were things you constructed brick by brick from a perfect blueprint. Any deviation, any unexpected twist felt like a personal failure, a crack in the foundation that threatened to bring the whole thing crashing down. Look, this desire for certainty is totally human. We think that making sense of life is impossible unless we can fit everything into a neat little box. We crave control because we believe it keeps us safe from pain and failure. But this craving is a trap. It's like trying to hold on to sand. The tighter I squeezed, the more it slipped through my fingers. My obsession with control didn't stop bad things from happening. It just stopped me from fully living. I was so focused on managing the future that I was completely absent from the only thing I ever truly had, right now. The philosopher Alan Watts talked about this. He pointed out that trying to find total security is pointless because life, by its very nature, is uncertain. The more we chase perfect security in a world that's always changing, the more insecure we feel. I was living proof. My carefully built life was fragile. The slightest wind of uncertainty would send me into a panic. I was living in a state of resistance, constantly fighting the natural flow of life, and honestly, it was exhausting. The truth is, this need for control is just fear in disguise, fear of what might happen if we just let go. The big turning point for me wasn't when I finally found control, but when I completely lost it. A series of unplanned events, a career path that vanished, a relationship that ended, a vision for my life that suddenly felt empty, left me feeling totally adrift. My blueprints were useless. The fortress I'd built was in ruins. And in that raw, terrifying space of not knowing, I stumbled upon the spiritual truth that changed everything: surrender. The word surrender gets a bad rap, right? We see it as weakness, like giving up or admitting defeat. But spiritual surrender is the exact opposite. It isn't about doing nothing, it's about taking the right action. It's the conscious choice to stop fighting with reality. It's a brave act of letting go of your rigid attachment to one specific outcome and instead trusting in a wisdom that's much bigger than your own ego. Think of life as a river. For years I was paddling like crazy against the current, trying to force the river to go my way. I was tired, frustrated, and getting absolutely nowhere. Surrender is the moment you finally put down the paddles. You stop fighting the current and instead you learn to read its flow. You trust that the river knows where it's going and you align yourself with it. This doesn't mean you just float along. You still have to steer, you still navigate around the rocks, but you're powered by the river itself, not by your own desperate effort. This is the core of what so many spiritual traditions call letting go. It's realizing that control is mostly an illusion anyway. When we release our death grip on how we think things should be, we open ourselves up to how they actually are and how we can best move with them. Alan Watts put it beautifully when he wrote, "Belief clings, but faith lets go." It's a shift from clinging to a fixed plan to having faith in the process of life itself. When you make this shift, something incredible happens. The very thing you were so afraid of, uncertainty, starts to change. It stops being a threat and starts being your greatest teacher. When the future is no longer a problem to solve, it becomes a field of infinite possibility. First, embracing uncertainty makes you incredibly resilient. When you're not attached to a single outcome, you become flexible and adaptable. You learn that you can handle whatever comes your way because your security doesn't depend on external stuff anymore. Your sense of safety starts to come from an inner trust in your ability to respond to life, rather than your ability to control it. This is the source of true, unshakable inner power. Second, it pulls you right into the present moment. When you aren't obsessively planning or worrying about the future, you're free to experience the richness of now. This is where life actually happens. As Watts reminds us, if your happiness always depends on something you expect in the future, you're chasing a ghost you can never catch. Real joy is found in the simple reality of your senses, in the feeling of being alive right here, right now. Finally, accepting the unknown is the doorway to all growth and creativity. Certainty is static. It's the land of the familiar. Growth, by definition, requires stepping into the unknown. When you allow for uncertainty, you create space for synchronicity, for unexpected opportunities, and for creative ideas your planning mind never could have dreamed up. You switch from a mode of avoidance to a mode of exploration, and life truly becomes an adventure. There is a timeless Taoist story that illustrates this perfectly. Once there was a farmer whose most valuable possession was a beautiful horse. One day the horse ran away. His neighbors came over to console him, saying, "Oh, what terrible luck." The farmer just replied, "Maybe." A week later, the horse returned, bringing with it 7 wild horses. The neighbors rushed over to congratulate him. "What amazing fortune," they said. "Now you're a rich man." The farmer calmly replied, "Maybe." The next day, the farmer's son was trying to tame one of the wild horses, got thrown off and broke his leg. The neighbors gathered again, shaking their heads. "How awful," they said. "Your son, your only help, is injured. This is truly bad luck." The farmer looked at his son's leg and said, "Maybe." A few weeks passed, and the emperor's army marched into the village, forcing all the able-bodied young men to join them in a brutal war. They took every healthy young man, but when they saw the farmer's son with his broken leg, they left him behind. The neighbors whose sons had been taken came to the farmer in tears. "You are so lucky," they cried. "Your son was spared," and the farmer, as always, replied, "Maybe." This story shows how pointless it is to label events as good or bad. We just don't have the big picture view to know the true outcome of any single event. The farmer's wisdom wasn't that he didn't care, it was a deep acceptance of uncertainty. He lived in a state of openness, letting life unfold without forcing his judgments onto it. So how do you actually start living this way? How do you go from understanding the idea to making it real in your own life? It starts small. It begins with just noticing your mind's addiction to certainty. First, practice focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you can't. You can't control the traffic, but you can control your breathing while you're stuck in it. You can't control if someone likes you, but you can control whether you act with kindness. You can't control a project's final outcome, but you can control the effort you put into it right now. This simple distinction is a powerful way to take your energy back. Second, practice mindfulness. This could be through meditation, sure, but it can also be as simple as paying full attention to a daily task, washing the dishes, drinking your coffee, or taking a walk. The goal is to anchor yourself in the present and give your mind a break from constantly jumping into a future that doesn't exist yet. Finally, actually start using the word maybe in your internal chatter. When you find yourself spiraling into worry about something, gently interrupt that thought with maybe. When you get news that seems terrible or wonderful, just pause. This feels bad, maybe. This seems great, maybe. This isn't denial. It's about creating a little bit of breathing room, a crack in the armor of your certainty that lets a bigger picture in. It's admitting that you don't know the whole story yet. Letting go of the need for control isn't a one-time thing, it's a lifelong practice. It's the gentle daily work of loosening your grip. It is learning to trust that even when you can't see the path ahead, you are still on it. The fear of the future, the anxiety of the unknown, it's a prison door that's locked from the inside. You've always had the key. The key is the willingness to accept that life is fluid, unpredictable, and far more magnificent than any plan you could ever come up with. By embracing this truth, you don't just get rid of fear, you transform it. You turn the lead of anxiety into the gold of presence. You learn that life's inherent uncertainty isn't a curse. It's the very space where freedom, growth, and your true power are born. The unknown is not here to break you, it's here to make you whole. I would love to know how this lands with you. What is one thing you've been trying to control that you might be able to hold a little more lightly? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story might just be the spark another person needs to see. And if you got something out of this video today, please consider subscribing for more explorations into inner peace and personal growth. Thanks for being here.